Good morning, Maya Barback. Here's the plan. Quite a bit more of the same as yesterday. There will be a lot more work on scaffolding and supports for the slab when they're ready to pour that, going up inside the house. There will be more work on the front of the house. We will try to have a little bit of a section on answering some of the comments and questions that are coming through on the comment sections and through direct messaging. That could go wrong. What else could possibly go wrong? My new snappy headgear is so that I can avoid getting a penalty. They have now put a new rule in place. If you fail to wear your hard hat inside the house, you will be penalised financially, which I think is going a step further than they were before, but I am wholly supportive of that. I did ask if there was some kind of bonus system for people that did follow the rules in their entirety, and the answer is no, which, okay, so we're using the stick, not the carrot. I will try today to go through some of your comments and questions. We'll see how that goes. I do need the builder to be on site and have a chat with him, because obviously this dummy doesn't have answers to some of your excellent questions. We're up to a crew size back at 25 today, which is actually one down. They have increased today by one, but at the same time we have one absentee, which is Oliver today, for once again the excellent reason of he's off getting his jab. Let's see what happens for the rest of the day. It might end up being a relatively short video. We'll see. If it is just more of the same, we won't try and take up too much of your time with that. Right, early-ish morning look around. We've got about 11 guys working inside the house at the moment on continuing the scaffolding maze. And yes, they're all wearing hard hats. So, as I said, this is going to be quite a bit of more of the same as yesterday, so we'll try and keep this pretty brief unless I see something new. Front wall. They have removed the forms from the tie beam. So I'm guessing today is going to be potentially about adding more concrete hollow block and going a little higher. Just 3 guys this morning working in this area. Bit of diggerator repair this morning. The wheel apparently got slightly damaged when it was driven through some rebar. So, just replacing that. We have quite a few of the guys working in and around this area. There's a lot of adjustment to tubes, a lot of cutting, a lot of grinding, some welding here, so avert your eyes. The light might be a little bit bright. But a lot of guys here. Morning, JR. Maya Barback. ¿Cómo están acá? At the carport, no sign of the removal of forms yet for that top beam. I'm not sure if that's a plan for later today or if that will be left a little bit longer. Let's have a crack at responding to some of the comments and questions that we've had in the comments section in YouTube, and a couple through direct messaging. It will of course be a complete mess because I am the world's biggest building dummy, but we'll give this a try. First one is a follow-up to Spanky's comment yesterday that we talked about the size of concrete hollow blocks, and Tess 101 said that she'd seen a number of buildings where for the ground floor they used 6-inch, not 5-inch concrete hollow blocks, and absolutely, Tess, agree with you, saying the same thing myself. The builder here has emphasized again that these blocks should not be load bearing. All the load should be taken by the columns and the beams, and the fact that if you have 6-inch concrete hollow blocks, inevitably you have wider door frames. Minor issue, but you do. So I am entirely comfortable with using the 5-inch that we have used. Second one is LC Gilbert. I think this is the first time has commented. There's a couple of points, one of which I can answer now and one I can't. The one I can is to do with hidden gutter systems, which again, if you've watched any number of Philippine building channels, you will have seen hidden gutter systems being put in place. Why aren't we doing it? Well, we're not doing it purely because of the concern about access if there is a problem. If you effectively concrete in all of your water pipes, which is what a hidden gutter system does, if there is a problem later down the line, getting to those pipes is more difficult. Not impossible, but more difficult. For us, it wasn't a critical design feature, and so we are going to stick with a more traditional guttering system, a non-hidden gutter system. Elsie, I will come back to your other comments when I've got an answer that I feel I can potentially explain a little bit better. And Graham, very, very regular contributor Graham, Cebu, Philippines, asked about the number of rebar in the beams that are going up at effectively the top of the ground floor or the base of the second floor. And as he rightly commented yesterday, it does look like there are 4 rebar at the top of each of those beams and 4 at the bottom. That's true, but actually there's more. And it is, I'm going to oversimplify this and basically say there will be 3 more in the middle. It's not quite that simple. They do use a formula which looks at the distance from one column to another, and at certain points between really closer to the columns, they use a calculation to determine how many rebar there should be, and then in the center span they determine how many there should be. But to keep it kind of simple, because that's all I can understand, there will effectively be 3 additional center rebar in all those beams. Nympha, another extremely regular contributor for which we are very thankful. She's probably getting very frustrated with me because half of my answers, I'm sure, don't quite match up to what she's looking for. But pointed out that in the Philippines it is very common for the wire that is used to tie in the rebar in forms, in columns and beams. The wire they use here tends to be 16 gauge wire, and that's absolutely true, and that's what we are using. She did point out that elsewhere they use or may use a black iron wire, but also said maybe that's not available in the Philippines. So the builder I chatted to him this morning, and he said he has looked at the black iron wire, but they have found it to be softer and not as reliable, at least the material that they can get here. So we are sticking with the 16 gauge wire. And that leaves me with 2 questions that I can't answer yet. One was, again, one of the questions from LC Gilbert about splicing and spacing of rebar, and I don't have enough information on that yet. And the second one is the big one that has had quite a number of comments about where the columns and the beams meet and where they should not be, to make an easier phrase, old concrete meeting new concrete. I don't have enough information. I did discuss it with the builder this morning. I want to push it a little bit further before I try and give any kind of answer to that. So there you go. That's my attempt at responding to comments. Please keep them coming in. I know my answers will be dummy answers. I'll do the best I can. But any questions you've got about this, inevitably I have to go and ask someone. And if anybody else sees a comment and they have an answer, please do go ahead and whack it into the comments section. Once again, I do know that a number of people don't read the comment sections for various reasons, and many times that includes me on other channels. So we'll try and address whatever we can on camera. It's 1:45. Form's coming off in the carport. Let's see what these beams look like. That surface looks pretty smooth. So I'd say that looks like a pretty successful pour, at least on this part. The rest of the form's not off yet. And a lot more tie beam going in, still a lot more scaffolding going in. Hard to really pick out significant changes that make any difference. So I'm going to move on from here and see what else is happening. Front wall, team of two, Coelito and Rico, and we have got higher. So we've now got another 2 rows of concrete hollow block above the beam that they've taken the forms off. So for a 2-man team, doing very well. String lines still being adjusted, rebar still going in. Actually, that's interesting. I don't know whether that's its final resting place, but it appears as though there is an additional piece of rebar being put in after just 2 rows of concrete hollow block, whereas I thought previously it was every 3 rows. And here, as I said before, lots of people. Sorry, very noisy. Hold on. But clearly a lot of metal work required at the moment. So 4 here, more around the corner. Now the area around the bunkhouse is very busy. And in case you missed it in the last couple of clips, everybody is wearing hard hats, even at ground level now. So, next challenge, tethers when they're at height. I do think I'm on a losing battle with that one, but we shall see. It's the end of the day, and we have got here at the carport, well, certainly for the storage room, we've got the forms removed inside and out. Trust me, you probably can't make it out, but just above the runner beam they have removed the form on the outside here. In fact, they've removed the forms all the way along, no, not quite all the way along to the end. The forms on the inside, as you can probably make out, are still in place. They will, I presume, come off tomorrow. At the front, on the north side, we have, rather oddly, partial removed forms. So they've left on a couple on this side and moved the middle one out, and kind of done the same thing on the front. I'm sure there is a very scientific, logical reason for that, or they just didn't have enough people in this particular area. And still at the front, on the more southerly side, they did get this front wall up to the same height as the side wall, which, just to repeat, that is going to go higher. Another couple of levels, but just the 2 of them, Coelito and Rico. Got those extra 4 levels of concrete hollow blocks in all the way across. So at the front here, a couple more levels higher to come, followed by the beam. 2 more sections over on this side still to be done. Do we have a witch? Or is it a wizard riding his broom? Webb the wizard. Happy, I think, that it's the end of the day.
Maya pa gapanapon, Kuya Mike.
Maya pa gapanapon. And here, just a mass more scaffolding, a mass more tie beams starting to go in. So we've got a tie beam all the way across, a runner beam all the way across this side until it reaches that far corner where the spar will be. A lot more work to define up here where the balcony will be on the front of the master bedroom. And looking from the north corner, again, tie beams getting extended. And if you can make out, we're starting to get these other supports going in a little bit further back. Quite a lot of those have gone in today. There was a massive amount of cutting of metal to get them to size. That was going on all day long. And from the northwest corner, kind of more of the same. This is the corner where the dirty kitchen will be. And in fact, above that is where there'll be quite a large balcony for one of the bedrooms. And finally, the southwest corner. Still no sign of the slab being poured in this area where the spa will be. Not sure what the timing is for that. But that's it. Massive amount of additional metalwork going on today. It's one of those days where, although you know a huge amount has gone, and when you look at it, you can see there's a lot more has been put in here. It's one of those days that doesn't feel like a big progress day. Of course it is. It's the same. But there's no clearly defined difference. Never mind, it can't all be like a slab pouring day. And it was the same effort that went in. In fact, this is, with 25 guys on site, probably had more effort today than possibly any other day we've had, except maybe where we've done a significant amount of overtime. And there is no overtime today. They have all gone, apart from the overnight crew. So that's it. Day 54 done. See you tomorrow.